just such a good hunt. When you work so hard and you have such a frustrating, humbling start to your season, and then it ends like that, it's just it makes it all worth it. And it also, like, that day, there was a rainbow right after I killed him, so I got some super cool pictures with it. And then the weather was just horrible the rest of the day. I mean, it was raining.
Your daughter, dude. She's down. Let's go.
Dude, I just shot a deer of a lifetime.
Freaking smoked him.
One with nature, and if you're a believer, one with God.
Definitely gets your heart pumping. Boy, you are in trouble.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another Fall Obsession Podcast episode driven by our friends over at Ridge Rock Hunt Company. I'll give them a shout out at the end of our podcast here today. I'm Sam, your podcast host. Appreciate you guys tuning in on whatever listening or streaming platform you guys might be tuning in on. On here today with one of our own staffers. It's not her first time. She's been on here with us before, and that's field staffer Kim Sullivan. Welcome back, Kim.
Thank you. It's been a while, but I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, it has been a little while. Excited to have you back on here. I was actually going to hit that real quick. You've been on here a few times with us in the past. First time was episode 46. If any of our listeners want to go back, you recapped a buck that you killed a couple seasons ago. I think you joined us around 70, 71 for some just talk about your whitetail property and your management tactics and some stuff you do out there. And then we got to talk to you about another buck that you killed in episode 83, which was, again, on just another stud whitetail on that property. So, but we're actually going to talk about some spring hunting today. I think is going to be the focus for our conversation. So looking forward to it.
Yep, little change up. It still doesn't get old hearing about the bucks, though.
Oh, absolutely not. And I'm sure, as you know, we'll probably briefly touch on some of that whitetail management stuff at the end of our podcast. But to start things off, though, if our followers, listeners have been keeping track, not that long ago, they probably saw us or you or both post a photo of a turkey that you killed 1 or 2 weeks ago. Now, I guess it was. But that's kind of what we want to talk about today. I wanted to start off by just hearing kind of how everything started with this turkey season for you, and kind of what your expectations were as you entered the year, and assuming on your own property again as well. So,
yeah. So I really don't. When it comes to turkey season, I'm still fairly new with it, and expectations wise, I don't set a very high standard for myself yet. And it's more or less, I just want to go out. I want to have fun. I want to have some success. Last year was the first year that I had actually killed one on my own. So again, I'm really new to it. I've gone a lot with my dad. We used to go all the time, my brothers and all that, but trying to get into it more on my own. And it's a challenge, but turkey season and turkey hunting, when it all comes together, there's literally nothing like it. I think it's one of the more interactive hunts you can have. And, it's an incredible experience just to be able to kind of interact with those birds and just try to figure out what they're doing. And I feel like every time I go out, I learn something new, whether it's from my mistakes or whether just from the birds alone, just being out there, or if I'm going with someone else, it's very easy to pick up kind of things that they're doing, especially when they have a little bit more knowledge into it and they've been going a lot longer. Expectations wise, I don't hold myself high, but I really, really enjoy learning and appreciate just kind of I feel like I get better day by day. So, it's like I said, turkey hunting is just awesome, and just to be out there and the thrill of it speaks for itself. This season, it started super frustrating for me. I do spend a lot of time, but I am a teacher, so it's hard to take off a lot of days in a row, especially, it starts looking bad if I'm like habitually taking off towards the end of the year. And right. So I try to limit that, but you only you only have so much time if you're a weekend hunter. It's tough. But I go pretty much every day I possibly can. And I had a lot of close calls this year leading up to the bird that I killed. And I had some, I missed a bird at 10 yards.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I hate to admit that on here, but I feel like everybody that hunts has had something crazy like that happen.
Absolutely.
I brought my gun home and I patterned it and it was a little high, but I don't like to use those excuses. I think, it's just, I take the blame for it, and, so you learn from your mistakes. And there were times when I was super frustrated and I was ready to just quit, especially after missing. But it's one of those things where you have to be committed to it and you have to just stick with it. And I'm grateful that I did, because, the bird that I killed was May 7th, I believe. It was the Saturday, a week before season went out. So leading up to it, that week before the Saturday that I killed, I was basically hunting every day I could. We only had a week left, so I felt the pressure. I was like, I haven't killed yet. I've had some really close calls, and it's one of those things where, like, you could feel yourself getting closer, and it's like, okay, I can't give up yet. I have to keep at it and be persistent with it. And I took off work Tuesday. I took a half day from school Tuesday, and I went, and I didn't really have a lot of luck. I ended up hearing birds late, but I just couldn't get on them because I had to leave in time to get to work. And then, I think I had gone Wednesday morning. I go before work, which doesn't leave me a lot of time, but I'm still able to get out there and at least hear and kind of figure out maybe where they are. The property that I hunt is 20 minutes the opposite direction where I work, and I already have a 40-minute commute to work. So it's a little tough. So usually I have to leave by about 7:15 to make it to work on time at 8. And I've had days where I've been pushing it, and I'm literally in the school building. And it's funny because I feel like, some of the parents and kids that know me, they're like, oh, she went hunting this morning. That's why she's running. But I ended up going Thursday morning, and, I just said, well, I can't take off work because I just took off Tuesday. And I feel like we're in such a sub shortage that I feel bad for taking off, because a lot of times we don't get subs to cover our classes, and the kids just kind of, they suffer from it. And I teach PE, so I have the best class, ever. So they get so mad at me if I'm not there. So Thursday I went, and I knew I couldn't stay long. I would have to leave by 7:20 at the very, very, very latest. And I got out into the field, and I got there super early just because it's getting light here, like 5:50 in the morning. So it's like, you've got to be there and got to be ready. And so I think I got there at like 5:30. And I went to the edge of the field, and I kind of was going in a little blind. Just I didn't know where they were, and I didn't want to walk in too far. I didn't want to spook them. So I ended up hitting the owl call, and one hammered, and he was pretty close. And I knew exactly where he was because I had hunted those birds in that area a lot before in the previous years. So I ended up getting to the woods where I thought would be a really good spot to call him in. And I thought that I was pretty close, and I didn't want to try my luck and get any closer. And he gobbled steady from 6:20 to 7:20 from the time I had to leave. And I was trying everything I possibly could. I use a slate call and a box call. I cannot use a mouth call. I'm just haven't mastered that yet, so I don't even try with that. I was kind of switching up my calls a little bit, and there were times when he would cut me off. There were times when I would not call purposely, and he would just, he was super vocal that morning. And he was up on a ridge just across like this little creek that I just could not call him in. Like he wasn't having any of it. as we were as I was like kind of calling back and forth with him, I heard a bird way behind me, and he was gobbling steady, and you could tell that he was coming quick. So I ended up having to turn around where I was set up. I turned around because this bird, when you hear them coming, they're coming.
Right.
I thought I was set up good. I was on the edge of this road bed, old road bed, and I was like, this is going to be great. He's going to walk this road. He's going to come straight to me. I watched him come in the woods, and he went a lot higher than I expected coming in. And where I was set up for the other bird, it wasn't the best situation for this bird. And the way he came in, there was a little roll in the woods, kind of up a hill, and he literally circled and was at the bottom of this hill. I think at one point he had to have been 30 yards from me, but I never saw him because he was just over that roll, and there was nothing I could do.
Wow.
And I think at that point he didn't like it. He didn't like the situation, didn't see the hen, and he just kind of took off. And they gobbled the whole time, but it was 7:15, and I looked at my watch. I was like, there's nothing I can do. I can't keep messing with them. So I just got out as quick as I could. I at least knew where they were, and I was hopeful that, I'd come back in the next day or so. Friday, I decided I was just going to leave them alone. Friday morning, I didn't go out. And then we had a lot of thunderstorms Friday evening, and there was like some break in the storms, and I went down to the property, and as soon as I pulled in, I saw a hen, and then I saw him strutting right behind her, and another hen. And I was like, well, that's probably why I'm not calling them when I can't come in. He's with hens. Ended up making a couple calls in the field. I did not expect him to leave his hens, but he did. And I think he got a little spooked because I was more or less in like this wider open field, and I had set up next to a tree, but I think he either just didn't like the situation of how like wide open it was and didn't see a hen, and he didn't come in. He didn't get spooked. He continued to gobble the entire evening, and I think towards the end of the night he was trying to call his hens back to him. So I just backed out, and I was like, well, at least I know where he's probably going tonight. And I came back Saturday morning when I had more time, and it downpoured Friday night, and Saturday morning nothing. When I got there, I didn't hear anything, and I didn't expect it because it was a beautiful morning. And I walked the whole property. I walked the back side of the property thinking, okay, maybe he's just in a different area. Nothing. And finally, I think it was like maybe 7:30, I heard the first gobble, and he was up on the same ridge where he was Thursday. And you could tell there was two different birds up there. So I just decided to set up on a completely different location and kind of go around to the backside where there's a pasture, and get across the creek this time instead of trying to call him over the creek. And I think at this point it was just being in the right place where the bird wanted to be, because there was just a few calls made, and he came right in, and I shot him at 30 yards. There was two of them. I didn't see the second one until I shot the first one. The second one ran off. But I think I shot, the boss bird. So, because he was coming in first, and just such a good hunt. When you work so hard and you have such a frustrating, humbling start to your season, and then it ends like that. It's just it makes it all worth it. And it also, like, that day, there was a rainbow right after I killed him. So I got some super cool pictures with it. And then the weather was just horrible the rest of the day. I mean, it was raining, it was gross, it was cold. So I had that like nice little break in the weather, and it just happened like perfect.
Yeah.
It's just, especially the rainbow. Like I've never had that happen before, like.
Yeah. I was going to say something about that, because it's just, it's just such a unique picture.
Mm-hmm.
I know you sent us the photos and everything of that, and it's just, yeah, it's so cool. And now to hear that was in that window, that break that you had in the weather, that's just, yeah, meant to be.
And it's funny because a lot of people from where I used to live, they were like, where are you? Because the weather is not like that where we. And I was like, yeah, I got lucky. I had a little time frame where I got lucky. But he was a great bird. He's 22 pounds, 11-inch beard, and 1.25 inch spurs. So he was a good bird.
Wow. Very,
Yeah.
very cool. Awesome. So is that the only bird for this year, or y'all have any
Yeah.
season left or anything? Or
The only one. I feel like I could have been tagged out this year, but missed a couple, and it's just how it goes. But had a couple close calls, but I'm happy with one. Next year, I'm gonna hold myself a little bit higher standard, and I'm gonna not miss like I did this year. So
I gotcha. So I know in some of the notes that sent back and forth before the episode, I was going to ask you about what makes this hunt significant. I feel like just my impression is that you've kind of already summarized a lot of that, just with the frustrations early and then the success in that narrow window and everything. Anything you'd like to add on just the significance of this season's bird?
yeah, I mean, I would just say there's like I said, there were a lot of times when I literally just was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done turkey hunting. Like, this is so frustrating. Just like, I'm getting such close calls, and then it just doesn't happen the way it should. I think it's just very, you know, just being persistent and realizing that it's bigger than just killing a bird. Like, it's there's memories that are made. You get so much out of just like feeling the hard work that you put in, and sometimes like the way that it happened for me, I'm so glad that it happened in that moment. And it's just such a great feeling, just not giving up and then just having that reward in the end. It's you can't stop when things get frustrating. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, no, I couldn't put it any better. We've had a lot of guests here recently, actually, on the podcast that have kind of shared some similar experiences to that. It just in keep pushing, keep trying.
Yeah.
It's not that far away, and I know for sure. Talking about the payoff, the rewarding side of everything, all the work you put in. I know you've talked about that before on here. Just with doing all your own work out there on your own place and everything, and having it pay off. And I'm assuming these whitetails on the wall behind you are
Yeah, that those two are mine right there. Yeah.
is that the last 2 years bucks?
Um, that let's see. No, this one was 2016. That was 2 years ago, and then I have another one that I haven't put on the wall yet. Was my bow buck from last year.
Okay.
And then I have two that are still at taxidermist from yeah. So they haven't come back yet. But Jack sent me a picture the other day. He said, I'm working on it today. I was like, yay. So they're coming. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. Again, just to have that rewarding factor, whether it's those guys on the wall behind you, turkey, whatever it might be, to have it pay off. I know the feeling. I know a lot of people do. So yeah, there's nothing like it.
And I think, like the more you hunt, the more you're going to have some super humbling experiences. And it's a matter of, do you overcome it or do you quit and get frustrated? I think if you are a true hunter, that you absolutely are going to have those stories, but it kind of makes it all worth it. If you walked out every single time and it was just an easy, perfect thing, would you like it as much,
Yeah. No, not at all.
No.
I want to work for it.
Yep.
Well, talking about those whitetails and everything, like I mentioned at the beginning, you've been on the podcast before, not just to recap some of your successful whitetail hunts or whitetail seasons, but also to talk about your property and some of the land management and stuff that you do out there. What I know you've been teaching, and you're about to have that summer break and everything, but where are you in the process, and what big things, if any, do you have that you're looking at or that you got to get done for this upcoming deer season?
Yep. So I have less than a week left for teaching and a summer off. Right now, the biggest thing, obviously, like work starts now. Like it's already kind of, some of the fields we have to get serious with bush hogging and stuff. Like they have grown tremendously. So we're behind a little bit, but the biggest thing right now that we're running into is the prices of Roundup fertilizer, lime, it's outrageous. And it's just like, I think the focus this year is going to be downsizing a little bit on food plots and focusing more on the more important ones, just because I mean, I can't afford it. I'm a teacher. Like,
Yeah.
it's all I can to, like, afford to live, and putting that much money into it is just, it's crazy. So the first plan is just really going to be like picking out and focusing the most important food plots, and trying not to go crazy with money, because I mean, it adds up super quick. It's already in the past been super expensive. But again, it's what are you putting into it? What do you want to get out of it? But there has to come a point where we have to kind of manage it and really pay attention to money, and not put so much into it. So this year is going to be one of those where we do downsize, but we know, I think, the most important food plots that really need the most into them. Some of the food plots will be okay with just mowing and maintaining, and not really throwing too much money into it. But then, with that, it's gas prices. You're paying for all that. It's crazy. So it's just, just really paying attention to the most important ones this year. Also, my camera system right now, we don't have cameras out. I actually just took some of those down. I use the Cuddy Link cell cameras at one of the further properties, and then just regular Cuddy Link cameras or Cuddy back cameras here around the house where it's closer. And that's expensive. It's super expensive to maintain the cell plans for that, and just batteries are crazy expensive now too. So we're giving the cameras a break. I have ran into bear already biting through the lenses of some of our Cuddy Link expensive cameras. So we're taking them down until I'm probably going to put them back up in July. I think that's when we really start focusing on what bucks we have. Last year we had a lot of younger, really decent sized deer that I think are going to be super exciting to see this year. Probably some borderline bucks. I had a couple target bucks from last year that just went MIA. Like, I don't know where they went. We never heard of anyone killing them. Never saw pictures. People that hunted around us never saw them. So I'm hoping that those deer show back up. And I think for me, that's the most exciting thing in the summertime, is to kind of pay attention to the cameras and check out what bucks we have. We always have some random ones that show up too. So just kind of starting to focus in on that, because I'm super, like, I love studying the deer, studying the bucks, and knowing ahead of time, because I still get so excited when I'm hunting and when I see one coming in. Like, I've got to know ahead of time, is it a shooter or is it not? Because sometimes my decision-making process out there is the best when I'm, when I'm all experiencing a little bit of a rush. So,
Yeah.
So the cameras will come back out. I have to figure out, last year we, in Franklin County, we were not allowed to put any feed out, because I guess of some of the diseases that were going on with the deer in the area. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to. I need to double check on that to see what we can put out in front of our cameras this year, if we're allowed to do that or not. So just paying attention to all that. So basically just taking notes right now on what we need to do, which ones are more important, where we can kind of cut back with some money, and focusing on our cameras, getting those back out in midsummer.
Yeah. No, I'm on the same page with you for sure. On our Texas property, we run Spy Point for our cell cams out there, and I'm the same boat. I couldn't afford to run every camera that I got, on the cell plans and everything year round. But fortunately for Spy Point, they have like a free plan, which is like, it caps you off at like 250 photos a month or something like that. Yep. So can at least still see some of what's going on out there in the off season. So during the season, I upgrade everything, but off season, I can't afford that. So
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we're kind of in the same boat in that we're, just now starting to get to the point where we're going to put some more sets out, get some more cameras rolling back out and everything here in the next couple months, and try to start seeing these bucks as they come up. Because again, almost the same as you, I had a lot of borderline bucks last year, a lot of up and comers, and I'm excited to see where they're at. And I had mature bucks disappear on me too, and some of them would come back. Some of them would just never heard of anybody killing them, hoping that they still show up. It's just kind of in between. My number one target buck last year, he disappeared for a while, and then he showed up at my dad's stand, which is 1.5 miles away from mine, and this is post rut, and hung out there for like 4 weeks, and then disappeared again, and then he's back at my stand right before they shed their antlers. So I'm like, I don't know what to think of that guy, but he's a traveler.
Where's he going to be? Where's he going to show up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be really interesting. We're excited.
Yeah. Remember my target buck, Kelsey, that I talked about in one of my podcasts? He's still out there somewhere, I'm hoping. So, he's broken off half of one of his sides last year. So I never saw him though, other than on camera. So I'm hoping he's still out there. We'll see. He will be a monster this year if he shows back up. I mean, hopefully. I hope he's not like declining, but you never know. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, that I would think that'd be hit lister number one for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2022. I'm sure it's the year it'll happen.
I hope. You do.
Well, Kim, is there anything on the turkey hunt, whitetails, your kind of your land management stuff out there? Anything else you'd like to mention or hit before we start concluding here?
I mean, I don't think so, other than just, lesson learned. Like, everybody just put your work in and don't give up when things get tough. You get so much more out of the reward in the end if you work for it. So just don't get frustrated, don't quit, keep at it, and just enjoy it as you go. Make sure you remember to enjoy it.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Well said. Well, for our listeners and viewers, we appreciate you guys tuning in to another Fall Obsession podcast episode. A little bit on the shorter end of our episodes today, but that's all right. We have a few of those. If you guys haven't already, whatever podcast platform or streaming service you guys might be tuning in on, hit that follow and subscribe button and make sure your notifications are turned on. We drop a new episode every single Monday morning, so be sure that you guys tune in. That way you don't miss out on any future up-and-coming episodes. If you're listening to the audio on a streaming device, then just know that there's also a video to all of our podcast episodes now, and that'll be on our YouTube channel a couple days after we drop the audio. So head on over to that YouTube, check us out. We got multiple new videos dropping frequently on there, so be sure you subscribe to that. Other social media sites are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Go like and follow all of those. We're also on Go Wild, which is a censorship-free hunting and outdoor social media platform specifically for hunters and outdoorsmen. We've been working with them kind of exclusively on some stuff and getting set up on there. So there's plenty of links on our website and on our own social medias if you guys want to go over there. We're also getting established on Waypoint TV, which is a hunting and outdoor streaming service. It's an app you guys can download for free on your phone. Hundreds of shows and podcasts on there, including ours, so go check that one out. FallObsession.com is the hub. That's where you can find all of our original content, video series, educational articles, gear reviews, wild game recipes, a bunch of other stuff. We cover hundreds of different topics, so head on over to FallObsession.com and explore. You'll also find our apparel on there. I'm rocking the Pronghorn Country shirt. Kim's got the American Pride shirt on in the podcast as well. So be sure you head on over, check out our designs. We got some new spring apparel that we just launched on there as well. Finally, Ridge Rock Hunt Company. They're our podcast partner and sponsor. Go check them out. Derek and Lacey over there in Mississippi, they book hunts with vetted, trusted outfitters that Derek himself has hunted with or somebody that he knows and loves has hunted with. So he guarantees a good experience, and he'll work with you to find what you're looking for in your budget. So head on over to Ridge Rock Hunt Company, social media website, check them out. Your dream hunt might not be that far away. So, Kim, thank you again. Enjoyed catching up.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I hope I'm back on here in the fall.
I'm sure you will be. We'll be talking about the story behind putting Kelsey on the ground. So
Yes, I like it.
all right. Well, guys, thank y'all for listening to another Fall Obsession podcast, and we will be back with you guys again next Monday morning. Tune in then.